And off we go. With a touchback. Despite moving the ball effectively against Indiana last week, gained the most yards Indiana's given up this year as they go to McCray on first down. The speedster to the outside will pick up 8 yards on the first play of the game. Play action on 2nd down and 2. Childs being chased on the run. Pick, no, it's dropped. Jair Hill had a beat on the football. Nick Marsh, the intended target, and it's harmlessly 3rd and 2 for the Spartans. It's manageable. They're going to run Childs, and he loses the ball. Michigan looks like they got to it. Rolls her. Bryce Underwood, a fastball is caught by McCulley for 9 yards. First carry of the game for Justice Haynes, and his return is going to be a first down carry for 2 yards. Bredesen's in the game, follow 44. And that's what Haynes is going to do. And again, a minimal gain of 2 yards as Jordan Hall wraps him up. Now can this Michigan offense capitalize on that Child's turnover? 2nd down and 7 to the outside. There is the freshman Andrew Marsh with his first grab. It's going to be short and set up 3rd down and about 2.5.
It looks like Ben Roberts, one of their starting defensive tackles, is down on the ground.
You can see the frustration for Roberts. This game means so much to all of these players. You can see the frustration, the emotion. We talked about how much it means, especially on the Spartan side of things. You see Joe Rossi now on the field downstairs and really hoping this defense can show some improvement. Bredesen in motion. Hand it to Haynes, and he is swallowed up. Well, short. Malik Spencer got there.
This is going to bring up an interesting situation because right now, coming into the game, Michigan, the worst in college football on 4th down. 1 for 9, 11%. They were 0 for 2 last week in the win against Washington and 0 for their last 6 attempts on 4th down. This is less than a yard. You've got a 6'4", 235-pound quarterback. Got to like your chances here.
Same play, different result. It's a 1st and goal from Haynes.
Only the 2nd conversion on 4th down for Michigan all season.
Hard to believe considering the personnel, to your point. Handoff for Haynes again. Stutter step and tripped up just inside the 5 by Malcolm Bell. It's not just one mistake. It's a lot of little mistakes that have plagued this defense, a defense that's given up 38 or more in 4 straight games. Underwood out of the pocket. Downfield, Underwood, incomplete. Samaj Morgan, the intended target, back of the end zone. It's 3rd and goal. Underwood, pressure comes off the edge. Underwood got rid of it, incomplete. Donovan McCulley streaking towards the back corner. And now it's 4th and goal and likely a field goal. So Dominic Zavada for a 21-yard field goal. And his kick is true. And he booms another one deep and into the end zone. Frazier, and he'll pick up just 2 as he runs into Rolder. Childs, 2nd and 8, and he was looking over the middle. Hausman had tight coverage on Bullard, and they both thought it should have been a flag. Instead of potentially a 1st down or at least 3rd and very short, it's become a 3rd down and 8 for this Michigan State offense. Be curious to see what the blitz packages look like for Wink Martindale. Scaled back a little bit last week against Washington. They'll bring 4 here. Childs to the sideline. It is caught and then dropped at the end. Will they rule this a completion? Catch. They are. And then a flag is down now back toward the returner, Samaj Morgan.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
And now another whistle, and Michigan celebrating after it looks like Michigan State is struggling.
False start. Offense, number 32, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
See what Eckley has. Line drive. Morgan from the 32 to the outside. Stays on his feet, gets twisted down.
Nice coverage.
It'll be a 50-yard punt. No return, and down the field, Sam Edwards makes the play. Haynes stays in the game. Have yet to see Jordan Marshall after his best game of the season. Play action on 1st down. Underwood right on target. Put it to Marsh for a 1st down.
What a throw by the young quarterback.
Underwood this time over the middle. Deep shot a little bit high and target for McCulley as Eaton was back there stride for stride with the big man. And the one thing that Sharon Moore has loved about Bryce Underwood so far this season, he hasn't necessarily turned the ball over a ton. He has kept the ball out of harm's way. And so while he's made a couple mistakes, they haven't been detrimental mistakes. As the run goes for 2 yards, approaching the midway point of the first quarter, it's a 3rd down and 8 for Underwood. Extending the play, stays on his feet, fires one downfield, tipped and incomplete. So can Hudson Hollenbeck pin this Michigan State offense way deep? Let's see it. On the line drive, it'll bounce right into the end zone.
He's 1 for 4. He's got to get it going. They need his passing more so than Michigan because of the run game.
Oh boy, threw it behind Marsh, and that nearly could have been taken away again. Loft one toward the sideline, looking for Marsh with tight coverage by Hill. And another incompletion is going to make it 3rd down and 10. Out of the pocket, on the run, incomplete. Today, 6 incompletions on 7 attempts. Credit to this Michigan defense so far. And Eckley back to punt it. This one's going to bounce just in front of the 40. Takes a Spartan bounce. Now sideways will die down in front of the 35. Marshall in the game for the first time after his career day last week in the win over Washington. And he's got the football on 1st down with not a whole lot of running room. Will gain a couple. But nice job by this Michigan State front. As on 2nd down, Underwood will go to the outside, and that is an incompletion. What a flag.
Pass interference, defense, number 14, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
So it sets up a fresh set of downs from the Spartan 45-yard line. Marshall stay in the game here.
Michigan enjoying a much more favorable field position so far in the ball game.
Pitch it to Morgan, slips through and gains 6.
And the history of Michigan and a lot of great programs has always been to have 2 high-level backs that complement each other.
As Marshall, this is what he says he does. He said, I can make people miss. I'd prefer to go through them. This time he does for a 1st down. Yeah. This Michigan offense is top 2 in the country in 50-plus yard runs. But Marshall's drive here, dragging tacklers with him for 7. 2nd down and 3. Play action. It's Underwood. Pumps, fires, end zone. Way too high. And a flag is down. I don't know if that was a catchable ball.
There is no foul for pass interference. Pass is uncatchable.
Haynes back in there. Set up the screen for him. Haynes got to be special, and he will be to the outside. Breaks the tackle down the sideline. It's a 1st down in the red zone. Malcolm Bell had a chance, and Haynes made a miss. Underwood keeps, shimmy, shake. Bryce Underwood has speed, and he's got the touchdown. The freshman scampers for 13 and poses at Spartan Stadium. Michigan extends the lead. Extra point, Zavada puts it through. He did say he roomed during training camp with Bryce Underwood, as that's a nice, finally nice 1st down run from Mekhi Frazier in this Michigan State offense. 16 total yards, and now they'll add to it. First down, unless this penalty brings it back. 2 productive carries for Frazier. Now we wait for this call.
Personal foul, illegal helmet contact, hands to the face. Offense, number 72. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Now the 4th penalty for Michigan State. 2nd down and long. It'll be 2nd and 17 with Childs in trouble and dumped. Jimmy Rolder had the fumble recovery on the 1st possession. He'll add a sack here.
Nice design on the stunt.
20th time Childs has been sacked this year. 19th Wolverine sack of the season. And on 3rd in a lifetime, they just conservatively run it up the middle with Frazier. He'll eventually run into Hillman. 4 drives, 4 3-and-outs, and another punt. Yeah, holding that left side on his upper body. So they'll tend to Sullivan. And now the freshman Andrew Marsh is back as opposed to Samaj Morgan.
You can't punt this to the middle of the field if you're Eckley. You've got to punt directionally to the sideline.
And this one's going still toward the middle of the field, and now back toward the sideline. It'll angle. A nice Michigan State roll. Some elite juice for this team. Now their defense is going to have to spark something for their offense. It just feels like they're going to need this defense to make a game-shifting play with a flag down here.
Holding, offense, number 51, 10-yard penalty, second down.
Underwood, this time it is dropped. He was looking for McCulley, and another one of those fastballs will set up 3rd and 15. And they'll run it. It'll be Haynes across the 30 and not much further.
Now another good stop by Michigan State's defense.
And punt it to begin the second, or will they? They'll run it here, boot it deep. Retreating back, Amari Kelly from the 15. Looking for space, he gets tripped up just as he was crossing the 25-yard line. That'll end this first quarter, and Michigan State will have it from the 27 to start. So you see the drive summary so far, and another penalty.
False start, offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty, first down.
And from the 22-yard line. Childs to the outside, complete to Amari Kelly near the original line of scrimmage. Modest gain will set up 2nd and 11. Handoff up the middle, big hole. Frazier's got a first down, still on his feet. Childs downfield to block. Frazier down the sideline. What a run from Michigan State. They needed a big play, and Spartan Stadium provides the energy. And now it looks like it's a wildcat formation, and it is. Hand it. Childs, fake the pitch, keep it himself, directing traffic, stutter step inside the red zone. His first time as a full-time starter a year ago. Up the middle it goes, and Tao Tolliver's carry will go for 2, maybe 3 yards, set up 3rd and short. And it's going to be a timeout for Michigan.
Now, for the first time in this game, you can feel a little bit of momentum for the home team.
It's going to be Childs, push from Coyne, and he's going to have the first down. It's going to be a run. Frazier spins away from Rolder, stays on his feet. Frazier, it's going to be close to a first down. They're going to give him a 1st and goal from the 4. Why not? It's Frazier. And he gets wrapped up after a gain of 1. And the ball came out. Michigan believes they have it. Now, was Frazier down is the question. Hausman scooped it up and ran away from the pile, but they're going to call him down by contact to set up 2nd and goal. Play clock's down to 1.
Jonathan Smith calling timeout.
Yeah, 100%. They threw the flag, but you saw Jonathan Smith streaking down the sideline.
Charge timeout, Michigan State, their first. A 30-second timeout.
2nd down and goal from the 2 for the Spartans.
Unbalanced line to the left.
Pitch it, McCray. And he gets spun down at the 1.
Really nice play by
Flag
Jair
down.
Hill.
Flag came down late.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, number 4, 15-yard penalty, 2nd down.
So Rustin Young is in there after Ramil went toward the sideline. It's 2nd and goal now from the 17. Childs, end zone. A lot of contact, and the flag is down. 2 of them come in as Metcalf had the coverage on McCray.
Pass interference, defense, number 13, number 7, 15-yard penalty, first down.
And it is. Childs will keep. Childs will push. Childs is short, just barely of the goal line. 2nd and goal. Back to the I formation. Childs will push again, and Childs. They're talking it through, and it looks like, as of now, he's going to be short. Will 3rd time be the charm? Childs got the push. Childs got the touchdown. Michigan State is on the board, and a flag comes in after the fact.
Well, that was all second effort push because that was pretty good defense by Michigan.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense, number 77 with late action after the play. His first of the game, 15-yard penalty assessed on the kickoff.
And fortunately for Michigan State, it didn't cost them a touchdown.
Let's see where they go with this kick. And it's a good one toward the sideline with a fair catch made at the 10, which is a little bit of a surprise by the freshman Marsh. It's Underwood and Haynes' first attempt at this rivalry, and Haynes will go for 2.
They know the significance of the rivalry. It runs very deep.
Play action on 2nd down and 7. Underwood thought about it. Now he'll take it himself and slide down about 2 yards shy of a first down. It'll be 3rd and short for the Wolverines.
So right now, there was a little sub. They got to let Michigan State sub on defense. Michigan was actually trying to go fast, but because they had an offensive sub, they have to wait and allow Michigan State to substitute. So pretty good move by Joe Rossi to slow things down on this 3rd and 1 play. Whoa,
oh, high snap. Underwood going back to it. He'll just dive on it. And he does get on top of it, but Michigan State catches a break.
You could see the offensive line all blocking wedge, and the center was trying to get low.
Oh, they went after that punt for Hollenbeck. Fair catch called for and made from the 36-yard line by Amari Kelly. What else has been pretty good has been the evasiveness of Mekhi Frazier. A number of missed tackles on the previous drive. This time, a short gain of 2.
Aiden Childs still 2 of 8 in the ball game throwing it.
2nd down and 8. It's Frazier, and he'll set up a 3rd and manageable as he runs into Derek Moore. This one's a 3rd and 3. Michigan brings 4. Childs delivers. Incomplete. Lot of contact. No flag down.
Whether it was Jair Hill or Zeke Berry, that time it looked like they got away with 1.
Samaj Morgan back out there. Calls for the fair catch inside the 5. But it's going to be Jordan Marshall to start this drive from the 5-yard line. Delayed handoff. Marshall looking for the hole and surges forward for 4 yards. 2nd down and 6 from the 9-yard line. Right back to him. Marshall up the middle, and he gets denied of extra yardage at the end of that run by Jordan Hall. Klein the motion man on 3rd down and 2. Follow Bredesen up the middle. Marshall's got the first down. Both teams with 2 timeouts and the 2-minute timeout remaining here in the first half. Sideline McCulley a little bit behind him and incomplete. On the ground with Marshall. He gets leveled. Big hit by Wayne Matthews III. Justice Haynes is back in there. They will run it. Pressure off the edge. Underwood has to get rid of it. It's a screen. It's Haynes. He's not going anywhere. Michigan State with a stand. 2 minutes remaining in the first half, and the Spartans will have a chance with the football back. 2 minutes to play in this first half. Hollenbeck's kick with a fair catch called for and made at the 34-yard line by Amari Kelly. That's where this Michigan State offense will operate. 2 timeouts, 1:53 to play. They have outgained Michigan in this quarter by 78 yards. And looking for more with Frazier up the middle. He'll gain 1 to the 35. On 2nd down and 9. Over the middle, it's incomplete. Don't even need to use the timeout.
Yeah.
Looking for McCray.
4-man rush for Michigan.
Childs delivers wide open, first down. It's Marsh trying to get away. Stays on his feet, then he went out of bounds backward. Tullis in there as well. But it's going to be Childs on the quarterback sneak. He's got it himself.
Yeah,
Didn't even need the push.
And here they go again. 2 timeouts in their pocket.
Childs, quick throw, low for Marsh. 2nd down and 10. Good blocking, plenty of time. Childs downfield.
Good decision.
Dumps it down to his back Tullis, who gets out of bounds just across midfield. Spartans still with 2 timeouts if they convert. Childs. Pressure comes. He got rid of it, but it didn't get close to the line of scrimmage. That is going to be grounding.
Yeah.
Derek Moore came in, and Childs never had a chance.
Offense, number 2. Lost it down at the spot of the foul. 4th down, Michigan has declined the option of a 10-second runoff.
Either team over 115 yards of offense.
Punt from Eckley, his 5th of this first half. High arcer, fair catch. Samaj Morgan ran into by his own teammate. Channing Goodwin, the wide receiver down the field, made contact, but Morgan with the focus does bring in the high punt. They have struggled offensively to do anything in this second quarter, and they're going to run it on first down. It's a productive run from Haynes of 9 yards. Underwood to throw, 2nd and 1. Dump it, Haynes beats his man to the outside, and he will get out of bounds to stop the clock at the 30. Dominic Zavada does have a big leg, hit from 56 yards against Nebraska. Underwood rips to the outside for Klein, and he does dive out of bounds. Minimal gain, though, 2nd down. On 2nd and 6 from the 34. Over the middle, it's dropped by Morgan. And timeout called by the Spartans. They got a ways to go before they get into field goal range, and they will run it up the middle with Haynes. He does have a first down, 3 seconds remaining, and they've spotted the football. Clock will roll. That'll be halftime. Time now for the Big Bulletin, brought to you by Genesis Motor America. 10-7 after 2 in this 118th meeting between Michigan and Michigan State. Total yards by quarter, a little flip-flop. 108 for Michigan in the first, 33 in the second, 7 in the first for Sparty, 102 in quarter number 2. Makai Frazier, a big reason why. Most yards in a first half versus Michigan since their last win versus Michigan back in 2021 when Kenneth Walker ran for 87 in the first half. And the QB comparison numbers are not necessarily pretty through the air. 7 of 15, 59 yards, a rushing touchdown for Underwood. 4 of 13, 26 yards, a rushing touchdown, and a fumble on the 3rd play of the game for Aiden Childs.
Well, Sharon Moore told KT at halftime, we've got to make some adjustments, change some things up in our running game. It'll be interesting to see what they come out with here to try to get this run game going. 87 yards rushing in that first half.
Connington's kick angles and will be taken. It is Marsh with a block to the outside and down at the 29-yard line where this, and the ball comes out, but it looked like he was well down. This Michigan offense will come out. Justice Haynes in the ball game to start this 3rd quarter. Has it up the middle. Justice Haynes, home run hitter. He just shoves Samaj Morgan out of his way and picks up 20 on the first play of the second half. So 12 carries, 70 yards. He's generally around that. As Haynes, another one. Gasher, Justice Haynes. The Gashers that set up this Michigan offense now with Jordan Marshall, but he gets tracked down quickly by Jalen Thompson, just 2 yards. On 2nd down and 8, play action, Underwood, good protection, fadeaway ball, too high.
McCulley very quiet in the first half, only 1 catch. The big receiver at the bottom of the screen.
Bell got a step, Bell to the quarterback, he lost it, scooped up. Jordan Hall picks up the football, and the Spartans force a turnover on the first drive of the second half.
For 14, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
It's Haynes to the outside, and a first down for Michigan.
And this is Jordan Hall down, their leading tackler. Not a good sign for Michigan State.
Leading tackler, leading voice as a captain at linebacker. Well, Jordan Hall walked off the field on his own power, helped off and right to the tent.
Michigan now 3 tight ends. Again, watch Bredesen. He'll show you where the ball's going.
Haynes, hesitation, gains 4. 2nd and goal. Give it to 22 and let him do the rest. Touchdown, Justice Haynes. Extra point makes it 17-7 as one happy family, or at least one content family. Still waiting on that to be confirmed. Another touchback on the kickoff.
So he's got to find a rhythm in the passing game.
Frazier, stutter step, 1 yard gain as he gets thrown down by Jayshawn Barham. Bryson Williams in the game at wide receiver. Instead, Childs is going to go to his tight end, Velling, who gets thrusted forward by Rolder for the first down from the tight end spot. Here's Childs on first down. Had to evade the pass rush, and then he'll just throw it away. Jimmy Rolder got in there in a blink. There's two Marshes. It's easy to get confused. And Childs this time will just pick up 2 yards. Childs looked like maybe a grab and a hold, but it doesn't matter as Childs is just going to have to launch it out of bounds. Had the 1 inside the 10, 2 inside the 20. This one going to be just in front of it on a fair catch from Samaj Morgan. And he'll begin this drive at the 23-yard line. Create some distance between these teams. Nowhere to go this time. Well played. Haynes still in there. 2nd down and 11. Delayed handoff. Haynes runs into a wall. So 2 plays and no running room for one of the most dynamic backs in the Big Ten. This one 3rd and 10. Underwood, step up. Underwood, tuck. Underwood, cuts but not enough. Snow makes the tackle at the 30.
Hands up.
That is a beautiful punt. That is going to roll all the way down inside the 3-yard line. Hudson Hollenbeck. Transfer pickup, Concepcion for that team, A&M. Another minimal gain as Etta got to Tullis on the first down. Jonathan Smith says he trusts Kelly back there fielding punts as Childs is going to keep it for himself. Makes a man miss, but there's another one there right to greet him with a bear hug at the 5. It's TJ Metcalf. Michigan State 2 for 10 on 3rd down tonight. Childs, dump it, short of Tao Tolliver, and another 3 and out. Samaj Morgan should have some room to work with here. Eckley, can he get it off? He does. It'll be Morgan from the 46. Morgan trying to split the double, he can't. He gets planted like it was potentially offside. Gave it right back to Michigan. That man scored the touchdown, Justice Haynes, and here we are 17-7. And now they're chewing up yards on the ground. Haynes across the 45 down to the 44-yard line. Up the middle, first down. Put Bredesen in motion on first down. Fake it to Haynes. Over the middle. Caught. Marsh away from the first. Inside the 15. Tracked down by Snow. Marsh up to 54. Now inside the red zone. First down from the 14. Haynes bounce again. Haynes got speed. Looking for the corner. Touchdown. 14-yard rip from Justice Haynes. Zavada's extra point, 24-7. He's a game changer. He's a team changer. And you want to go back to that USC game. There were so many conversations surrounding this Michigan football team about toughness and how they lost in the trenches. All true. At the same time, you lose this guy in the second quarter, and he didn't have a mighty first half here tonight, but eventually through these games we've seen he's going to break loose.
Well, and I think he had 60-some yards when he got hurt in that game. So he was on his way to another typical Justice Haynes game.
And Nick Marsh to try to make something happen offensively. Frazier had the big run in the second quarter. He has had nothing else since. Velling will be pushed out of bounds by Bowles. 7 of 9 drives today. This one a 3rd and 2. Looking for the running back, Tao Tolliver out of the slot, and he's got it. First down. Quick throws, got the ball out of the hands of Childs. Let's see if they can dial some of that up here. Childs has to get away, he won't. He never saw TJ Guy in pursuit. So you get the first down, now it's back to 2nd and 19. There's a strike, and there's his man. Nick Marsh makes it happen himself. First down for 20 yards.
And probably the best throw that we've seen Aiden Childs make all night.
Childs said this was the problem last year when they tried to go tempo. They actually let the defense get set. Did it again here. And still with a completion to the outside. Marsh gets pushed back by Jair Hill. It'll start with a 2nd down and 6 from the 49-yard line. Tao Tolliver is the back. Quick throw, McCray, catch, stop, went the wrong way.
Yes.
He gets planted by Metcalf.
Excellent play by Metcalf, but why do you go back inside?
Childs now 10 for 22, just 73 yards. He'll step up, he'll run, and Childs will get it. First down.
Well, and that's where you see the strength of Childs as a runner.
There have been some wild moments in this rivalry's history. This would be certainly another one to add to that notch as Benny makes the tackle on Tao Tolliver. A 17-point deficit for Michigan State as we begin this fourth quarter. Their offense has been stuck in mud for most of this game after just one drive that led to the touchdown for Childs in the second quarter. Now what can he do down in the fourth quarter? He is dialed in on this drive. He completes this one to Amari Kelly for 10 yards.
Yeah, did a nice job of staying in the pocket. It didn't open up right away. Kelly was able to find a nice soft area in the zone, and Childs got him the football, playing with more confidence right now, throwing it, than he has all night.
And the tempo feels like it's actually done them some good.
Yeah.
But you've seen some heavy breathing on either side, especially the defensive side for Michigan. They finally get some substitutions in the game, especially up front. You see big zero, Troy Williams, who's been healthy and playing at his highest level of the season. First down for Childs. Look off, pump, fire, Marsh, got it! Touchdown! 25 yards, Childs on the money, and Marsh Madness makes a late appearance.
Stepped out of bounds at the half-yard line. It's first and goal at the half-yard line.
Under center for Childs. Handed off instead. And Tullis is going to get in with ease. Touchdown, Michigan State. It's Trey Pierce, the injured man for Michigan. So he will gingerly make his way back to the Wolverines sideline. Extra point to make this a 10-point game for Michigan State. Actually, they're going to go for two.
Going for two.
Yep, they're 1 for 2, going for 2 this season. The idea here is you make it a 9-point game and could potentially win it with a field goal and a touchdown as opposed to tying it. And even if you don't get it, still down 11, 2-point conversion and a field goal ties the game. 2-point conversion. Over the middle, knocked away. Looking for McCray, and Rolder got a hand on it. And a little bit of a squib kick is going to be bounced up and taken just in front of the 20 and kneed down there. Saw them win it on a 2-point conversion in double overtime week 2 against Boston College as Marshall runs into a pile after a gain of 2. That was a misdirection play going to Amari Kelly in the back of the end zone. And a flag.
It should back him up another 5 yards.
Encroachment. Offense, number 17, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, second down.
2nd and 13. Underwood kept it, got away from the first, and somehow turns it into a 1-yard gain.
Yeah, he was under hot pursuit. It's amazing here.
It's Marshall up the middle. Stutter step move, he runs into Snow. And it's a stop for this Michigan State defense.
Amari Kelly has to field this punt. I mean, unless he just bombs one over his head, he's got to field the punt.
It's a good one. He will not field it. It's, yeah, not as good as it looked initially. Comes backward, and it will be in front of the 40. So great field position for this Michigan State offense after Aiden Childs found a rhythm in the last drive.
Michigan State with good field position and hopefully a hot quarterback.
Got to capitalize. It's going to be Frazier around the edge. Frazier stays on his feet, down the sideline, dragging Wolverines with him. Another big gain for Mekhi Frazier. 112 yards on the day. This time he's going to be driven backward by Rolder. So you need 2 scores, field goal and an 8-point touchdown with a 2-point conversion. Career high, 110 yards on the ground for Frazier. They will go to the air on 2nd and 12. It's Velling over the middle. And Rolder trips him up at the 30. 3rd down. Childs gets away. Childs makes a juke. Oh, he stopped. Need this one. Childs throws, knocked away. Who else? Jimmy Rolder has been all over the field. Just an interesting decision again for Jonathan Smith and this coaching staff. You have a kicker that's proven in Connington that he can make from 50 yards. It would have been about a 45-yarder, as that one goes for 3 yards on first down for Haynes, which they've proven they can for most of this game. 2 drives in the third quarter that resulted in Haynes touchdowns. The early touchdown as well for Underwood. Haynes just so patient, so smart about utilizing his blocking, and then we've got some action after the play, and it is
standing over the player. Just another dumb penalty on the part of Michigan State.
Andrew Marsh and Joshua Eaton getting into it afterward, and then you see Channing Goodwin go down the field, and a nice job by Jake Cornera to make sure that he stays out of it and goes back to playing with emotion, not emotional, for both these sides.
I mean, look, there's 2 guys involved in it. It's always the second guy that gets caught, but I mean, this at the end you just cannot do, all right?
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 7 for taunting, his first of the game, 15-yard penalty, first down.
And put more duress on Michigan State.
Haynes gets held back on a nice play by Moa. Second down and 7. Underwood will keep it. Step up. Underwood sacked. Loses a yard. 3rd and long. 13 shy of his career high. And he has it up the middle. But he's not going to get the first down. If anything, he lost the football. And Michigan State has it. Up to 114 yards. He'll go to the air on first down. Steps up. Rifles complete. Marsh in the soft spot of the defense. Fresh set of downs. Childs on the move. Uncorks. Knocked away.
Nice play by Zeke Berry. Working on Omari Kelly.
Instead, it's a handoff. It's Tao Tolliver. And he gets spun down by Hausman. Handoff. Tao Tolliver trying to weave his way through. Is a yard short.
Trying to get the play call, then they...
Oh, Childs trying to sneak it.
Unbelievable.
He is denied again. Back to... And now looks like they're in the driver's seat again with a rivalry game here at...
In great fashion the last 2 weeks.
45th rush of the night. This one goes for Marshall to bring up 3rd down and 1. Michigan State has 1 timeout remaining and will not use it here. So 45 runs, 17 passes. It's that throwback to what we saw for Michigan 2 years ago.
Well, and it's almost like the road game they won at Nebraska was very similar. They did not throw the ball very much in Nebraska. In fact, 22 pass attempts. Bryce Underwood only had 12 completions, but they ran for nearly 300 yards against the Cornhuskers to dominate the game.
Marshall was the star last week with 133 yards. Can he get the first down here? And he can. The extra effort. Jordan Marshall, tough running, first down Michigan. Play clock down to 5. Draining the clock as best they can. It's Marshall for 3. Conference coming in at 5 and 2. Second down and 7. Marshall with a hole. Marshall bursts into the secondary. Jordan Marshall will take it all the way for the touchdown. A 56-yard dagger. And it's night-night time in East Lansing.
Coming into the game, Michigan averaging 212 yards a game rushing, 3rd in the Big Ten.
Fair catch made, 2:48 to play, but just an impressive bounce back after the loss at USC, where Michigan felt embarrassed, and another penalty will be the 11th.
Ball start, offense, number 62, 72, 5-yard penalty, first down.
after that point, they kind of turned it up a different notch defensively.
And it is crumbling now.
Yeah.
False start. Offense for 58. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And nearly had issues there. Tolliver runs into a wall. Jimmy Rolder, easily the MVP of this game with the way he's played.
Well, and really last week too. I mean, Wink Martindale just has raved about the way he has played. He's a guy who's had injuries earlier in his career. And a lot of people thought maybe he might think about transferring. There were teams that were kind of sniffing around to see if he wanted to. And Wink talked to him and said, look, you're a starter. And when they moved Jayshon Barham to the edge, that allowed Jimmy Rolder to really shine as a starting linebacker.
Milivojevic with a completion finds Kelly on the outside. Rolder is up to 10 tackles, 2 TFLs, a sack, and a fumble recovery, along with a quarterback hurry in this game. And, oh, there's some flags on the field. Let's see if Milivojevic took a hit on the back end here.
Well, he kind of got up holding his shoulder.
Barham dragged him.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 1, 15-yard penalty, first down.
A 10-point game, and then 2 fourth-down stops in Michigan territory that looked promising on both drives as Milivojevic gets out of the pocket and just sails out of bounds with 1:58. A sack, a fumble recovery, a QB hurry, and now this Michigan defense is closing the door once again. Derek Moore came in middle of the pack to a certain degree in the Big Ten, 6th in that category, 33rd in the country. Looking to add another one, back-to-back for Moore. But a flag is down in the secondary.
Holding, defense, number 2, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Goes on the road, performs really well here against Michigan State as Milivojevic completes and Marsh adds another catch. That'll be his 6th. But being a much improved team and one of the tougher outs right now in the Big Ten as Milivojevic delivers short and incomplete. Jordan Marshall felt like they haven't reached that ceiling yet. They still have a lot of potential that they haven't quite shown as McCray makes a couple of really impressive moves and competing for the national championship this year. First down, Milivojevic on target again. This time Tolliver, the running back. Now at the 21-yard line, first down. Fake the handoff. Milivojevic steps up, throws, middle, caught, touchdown. Michael Masunis, the tight end, with 7 seconds remaining. He loves the way that Milivojevic has come out and improved. Finds that the quarterback room with only 4 of them in there, and John Boyer, the quarterback coach, has so much energy. They root for each other. Childs is really looking forward to continuing to help in the development of Alessio Milivojevic and hoping to leave him something really special by the time he departs East Lansing. So more meaningful reps, 5 of 6 on the drive for 60 yards and a touchdown for the freshman from Naperville, Illinois. Final 7 seconds of the 118th meeting between Michigan and Michigan State, and the Paul Bunyan Trophy staying with the Wolverines. First time for the Michigan native, Bryce Underwood, in this matchup, and he has delivered his part. Not necessarily through the air, but running the offense, keeping the ball out of harm's way, and still understanding hot hands. 22 and 23 certainly got it.
Is the Paul Bunyan Trophy here? Is it like out on the field somewhere, or is it hidden
I would imagine so.
Do
you want to see it? You want to?
Well,
you want to get a feel?
No, but I would think Michigan would kind of look for it, and it's probably on their sideline since they won it last year.
Oh, the booming onside kick. We saw that in Oregon last year with Oregon and Ohio State. Went off of Bredesen, but Michigan ready enough. That was a nice play by Connington to put it in the right spot. So 5 seconds remaining. Again, Sharon Moore just trying to make sure that his team behaves themselves. Jonathan Smith hopeful the same thing here as this game comes to a close. One final kneel down, and Michigan will move to 6-2. The 2 road losses at Oklahoma, at USC. Playoff hopes still very much alive if they can win out, including the victory in the final game of the season against Ohio State. Underwood will take the final snap with his 2 stars of the game. Haynes with 152 and 2 touchdowns in his return to action. Marshall with 110 and a dagger touchdown of 56 yards. This one comes to an end. Underwood kneels it down, and the Paul Bunyan Trophy stays home in Ann Arbor. 31-20. Some fireworks after the game from the Wolverines. And there it is. They got the winged helmet already up there. Let's go to KT.
Coach, a huge win on the road in this rivalry, and now back-to-back wins following the loss at USC. What was your biggest takeaway about how your team managed to get this done tonight?
Glad we got the win. It's always hard to win in the Big Ten, so really excited about that, especially in this rivalry. We didn't make it easy. We didn't make it easy at all. Shot ourselves in the foot a lot, a lot to clean up, but you'd rather have that on the other side of a win.
But the defense certainly made it look easy, especially on those key 4th down stops in the 4th quarter. How much better can this group get?
I mean, so much better, right? We're always looking to get better. That 4th down stop was huge, and then to end it with that run. Credit to the O-line, they played really well up front, and it was a complete team win. We got to get better, though. We got a lot to work on, and we will.
All right, good luck next week. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, KT. Justice Haynes nearly ties or surpasses his career high from week 1 with 152 yards tonight. Marshall with 110. Michigan gets the job done. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, it's your local news. Tomorrow night, Packers and Steelers on Sunday Night Football. Next Saturday, it's Rutgers and Illinois at noon Eastern. Then USC, Nebraska on Big Ten Saturday night, 7:30 Eastern, only on NBC and Peacock. For Catherine Tappan, Todd Blackledge, Terry McCauley, our entire crew, I'm Noah Eagle saying so long from East Lansing.